Today I'm going to make the case against discounting, why you should not be doing it, or at the very least, why you should not have your whole business model rely on discounting. Discounting, if you get it wrong and you become hooked on it, it's just like a drug where there's no way you can wean yourself off it without going completely to zero and then rebuilding. So I'm going to make the case against discounting because there are so many online businesses that rely on discounting to make any kind of sales. I'm also going to tell you why it is that we discount from time to time, but only in very specific situations. All right, so I bring this up often in my newsletter, and I just talk about how I'm against discounting in general, and I put my artistic skills really to great effect on Canva to prove the point. But it's not that I'm completely against discounting. It's not my position that you should never discount. It's just that because so many people rely on it as a way to make money, we really do need a counterforce to show what you should be doing instead, right? Now, the reason that people discount is because it works. Ultimately, if you see this kind of stuff in your inbox, 20% off, sale ends tonight, it does work because people are motivated by financial gain, by saving money. They're motivated by deadlines and things like that. So let's just put that out there. Discounting does work, and you will make a temporary boost in sales. You will make more money immediately if you discount, and that's obviously why people do it, because it's like it's the kind of single biggest lever you can pull if more cash now is the thing that you're after. But there are three main reasons for me that it's such a bad idea to start to rely on this. And the number one thing is that it attracts the wrong customers. If you think about if you are an education business and you are trying to build a long-term brand, then what do you want? You want people to come to you, to be attracted to you based on the value that you provide. Okay, people who are more interested in getting the results for themselves or for their organization than they are for saving money. They're happy to pay for the right results. And not only that, they're happy to come back and buy more stuff from you later. When they are happy, they tell their friends, and that's how all great businesses grow, right? So we want to be building businesses based on positive value, not on not on getting people to buy just because you're cutting the price, right? But when you discount, you attract the wrong customers right from the start. You get people who are reactive, people who buy stuff just because they see a discount in their inbox, and we all do it from time to time, right? But you're in a very reactive state of mind when you do that. People tend to be a lot more short-termist, looking for quick fixes, because the opposite of that would not be shopping, not be looking for a solution because of the discount or even the price, but based on what you think is going to get you the most value. I mean, my business, Story Learning, is a language learning company. Like, so much of the reason that we exist, we do well, is because people are so fed up with the quick fixes that they get from all these silly language learning apps out there. They want something that actually works. So they get to a point where they are happy to spend good money on solutions that are actually going to help them, right? But people who buy based on discounting are the opposite of that. There's many language learning companies in particular who, every time you see anything from them, it's always 40% off, 60% off. And it's like, 6 months for the price of one. And you're only getting people in who care about that bargain. They're not really focused on the solution that they want. And you're getting people who are sensitive to price. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you're getting customers who are sensitive to price, how easy do you think it's going to be to sell them more stuff in the future, which, remember, is where the real money is? Answer, not very. So it gets the wrong customers in from the start. It also creates an unstable business model, not in every case, but how many companies have you seen where their whole, on a month-to-month cycle, all of their revenue comes in at the end of the month? A lot of software companies function in this way, but a lot of companies in general, the only way they know how to make sales is by discounting. And so they run a big sale at the end of the month, every month in, month out, and that's where all their income comes in, and they don't make any sales the rest of the time. And this creates a very, very stressful business environment because you really rely on these sale events to actually make any money in the first place. You can't afford for any of these to go wrong. And so the whole company kind of swings into action to roll out this massive sale at the end of the month. And it's just not a good way of doing things. You compress all your revenue into a few days. Everyone gets stressed out. There's a lot of pressure on it working, and you get the wrong customers in the first place. All right, so discounting often results in lumpy income because you can't, I mean, people do, but generally you can't be discounted every single day, right? You've got to have some gap in between your discounts and But actually, now that I'm saying that, I realize lots of companies just don't at all. Their permanent offer is like 60% off or whatever. This is very, very common in companies that run a discount model. Right? And then the third thing is it just looks cheap. And I know that sounds like a not particularly important thing, but if you think about again, the kind of customers that you're looking for and the kind of business or brand that you want to build, like just to ask yourself what you want to be building. We've all seen stores like this, they're permanently closing down. The high street near where I live, in the closest town, there's a few shops that have been there for 10 years. It's been everything must go 80-90% off for like the last 10 years. So what's the effect? Well, I just ignore it and walk past every time I see it. The only people it gets in are people who just happen to be, it's drive-bys, people who just happen to be looking for a raincoat or something, and they happen to see that sign. So you're getting those people, not people that are actually buying the value that you're offering. And then in the online space, like so many course platforms, you see, I blurred out the names here because not to pickle anybody, but in the online course space, companies that whose business is basically kind of reselling courses, you see this so much, whereas if you can see here, it's like this course was £127, but it's now £29. And you, lucky person, get to have this 90% discount just because you happen to click to the website. You get reminded of it on the page, then you get a pop-up telling you. And again, if you're looking for something quality, what impression does this give? So it looks cheap, and that means it's actively working against you if you have any ambition to build something quality long term, right? But like I said earlier, we do discount from time to time in my company, and I think discounting done well can have a lot of benefits, not only from bringing in the occasional cash windfall and big revenue event, but also bringing more customers into your ecosystem, as long as it's done selectively and well. It's the difference between relying on discounting as your only means of generating cash versus using discounting selectively. So at my company, Story Learning, it's essentially the opposite of the cheap app model that I mentioned earlier, right? So in a market where most people are buying $10 a month apps, we sell courses from anywhere from like $300 to $2,000. So it's the total opposite in terms of value proposition, pricing, everything. And that's why it works, right? Because there's no halfway house. We are trading purely on value and quality. And so in order to achieve that, we are very clear about having a unique product, very strong positioning. We are very selective about the customers that we get through. And in order to maintain that positioning, therefore, we do not discount. You go into our website on 350 days of the year, you will not see discounting, okay? Now, with that said, there are two times in a year where we will discount, and that will be generally, recently we've been doing it around June and then November around Black Friday time. And these are major sale events, all right? So this is Black Friday, this is a summer sale. We occasionally do New Year as well, but generally not. It's generally twice a year. And we make these into very big sale events. So they'll last from, anywhere from like 5 to 10 days. Very steep discounts. We give all like 2/3 off. What else can I say? We get affiliates involved, so we really make a big deal out of it. So it's not even really, I guess the point of it is not really a discount as such, although they are heavily discounted. It's more of a kind of big event and a reason, there's a very clear reason or excuse for the sale. So why do this? Like, despite everything I've been saying about positioning, why do this? Well, here is the pros and cons. Here are the pros and cons. So first of all, it gives us a big cash windfall. Sales and discounts, they do bring in lots of cash, right? That's why people do them. And we also want that cash windfall. And so it's helpful to have that a couple of times a year. It also benefits our affiliates, because affiliates, although they promote us on an evergreen basis, it's good for them to have, specific events to promote. And it also brings us in an influx of new customers, many of whom will become repeat customers, right? The negatives though, because it's not all positive, from these people who come in on these sale events, we see higher refunds, we see less engagement in the community, we see lower completion rates in courses. So there are all of these negatives, but on balance, because it's very scarce, I'm kind of happy to do it. And the way that I think about it is that, because our stuff's quite expensive, we have our customers over here, and then a bunch of people, the vast majority of people who don't become customers, right? They're all kind of just this dual dynamic in the business where we've got our customers here and then everyone else who's not yet become a customer. And that can be because they can't afford it, because it's not the right time for them, maybe they're unconvinced yet of the value of the product. And so what happens is, from time to time, twice a year, by running a sale event, we just kind of allow a few people to kind of jump over the wall there and move into the kind of customer space. And then, despite with all the positives and negatives given, like I said before, it's still worth it on balance, because not only does it kind of release this pressure of people that really kind of want to learn with us but can't for some of these reasons, but also, statistically, some of these people are also going to become very good repeat customers. But it works because for the whole rest of the time, the vast majority of the year, our positioning is very solid and very, very strong. All right, and so people who come in here, they tend to appreciate the value a lot more because they've understood that it is a kind of premium offering and that a discount is a very rare thing to happen, right? So it only works if the rest of the time you have this general environment of exclusivity around what you do. You can see how, like, these people here are not going to be in this state of like wanting to get involved and wanting to learn with you if you run these big discounts every other week, right? It just destroys your positioning. So it only works because of what you do the rest of the time and that value-based marketing. Okay. So to sum up, the benefits of discounting are that you can bring in cash, which we all like. You will bring in an influx of new customers that can bring fresh blood into the business. And it also gives you a way to reward existing customers, right? Because your existing customers who maybe spend lots of money with you, if you do run these sale events, sometimes it's nice to reward them as well. And they do appreciate it, and our existing customers get involved. With that said, you will get many of the wrong customers in. You risk a reliance in the business on discounting, and it's a very slippery slope once you get that taste, and it can create this unstable business model where revenue is coming in very kind of in big lumps. So that is why. Oh, where's my thing gone? Oh, it hasn't showed up. That's strange. Anyway, that is my case against discounting. If you'd like to, this is unprofessional, isn't it? If you'd like to learn more about what I do and read my case study, which is a deep dive into story learning, the business that I mentioned, you can go to ollyrichards.co. I've written a 117-page case study that goes into this and a lot more stuff, and it's completely free. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, because I make these videos often. And if you can like the video as well, that just helps the general YouTube thing. So there you go, the case against discounting.